Hi guys, welcome to another video. This is the first layout for November 2019 Mini Kit Monday Kit series. I am going to start off with these two photographs. And then one thing that I found while I was going through my drawers is these chipboard squares. And I decided to challenge myself into using them for whatever. I can add paper and use it as an embellishment square, or I'm going to try and do that as a challenge to myself, but also I'm going to try and use them up only because I don't ever seem to gravitate towards these, and I've had them in my stash for a while. So what I can also do is, I know I'm going to have these two photographs. I'm going to use them as dimensional foam, or dimension, to use for dimension on the back of my photos and my mat, so that it'll give it some dimension. So I wanted to start off by saying that I'm going to include these in this month. There's 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. There's 21 of them. So I'm going to see if I can finish all of these by the end of this month. I've already used one. I think I'm going to use 6 for the matting, but I decided to include that in this video. So my recording stopped, or my battery actually died right at the end of that, and I am starting off with these two photos. We went to a fall festival. It's usually a Great Pumpkin Way Off that happens sometime at the end of September, kind of sometime between the end of September to mid-October. That's when this happens here locally in Colorado. And what I'm doing is I'm putting both of these photographs together to act as a single large photograph and matting them both together, if you will. I am using the backside of a pattern piece of paper. Lately I've gotten to doing that quite a bit, where I'm using other pieces of pattern paper that are kind of white on the backside, so that I don't tend to buy white cardstock anyway. And what I do have, I use for card bases, and or it's watercolor paper of some sort. So I did use the backside of a pattern piece of paper, and then I decided that instead of going with a small mat with that green pattern paper, I wanted to do kind of something bigger. The pattern reminded me sort of a blanket. So even though this isn't a picnic picture or picnic style or that mood, I kind of thought of a blanket because of the pattern that's printed on the paper, and this is the type of weather that calls for blankets or scarves, sweaters, and the like. And so I really liked making that pattern a little bit bigger, and I offset it after a while because everything was starting to look really rectangular, really linear, especially considering that I have two 4x6 photographs, and one is of my husband and my younger son, and the other one is of my older son and I together. So we're all in the layout, so to speak, even though it isn't a group photo. Then what I did after I picked the green was I matted the photograph again in the yellow, except I didn't want it to kind of overtake the pattern that I had already used. And the backside was the gold foil leafing and foliage, and so I took a little bit of that and I used it for the bottom piece of my layout. I kind of gave it like a ledge to hold up the rest of the layout. I thought I was going to use the green rectangle up sideways at first, just because it's something different and I didn't want it to look too boxy, but in the end I offset it, and I thought that gave it a better look. It didn't look so structured, and it gave it a more relaxed feel, at least to me. I did put in this 3x4 cut apart sheet that I got from the 6x8 pieces of paper that my friend Crafty Maggie sent to me in some Happy Mail some time ago, and it says live the good life, and it had a blank small rectangular piece underneath, and I had already planned out that I was going to put my date, the date of the photographs, in that small piece. And so here I'm just putting the pieces together. I know that this is basically what my layout is going to look like. I didn't have a lot of time to put this together, and so that I know that I wanted something simpler. And you can see that I did use the back side, or that my pattern paper was double-sided, and that's where I got that that fourth pattern paper, is because it was on the back side of one of the other pattern papers that I had initially pulled, which I thought gave it another sort of dimension because it does have the foil. It gives it a depth, and it also kind of brings other colors from the darker pattern paper that I use as a base. I also brought in these pieces of chipboard that my friend had also included in that Happy Mail. And so I brought the ones that really pulled out the colors from the pattern paper in the back, and so I felt like it would make it more cohesive. Even though the style of the art isn't the same, the floral and the pumpkins are kind of drawn in different styles. I really felt like they went together because the colors really coordinated, and so I decided to bring them in. They're not even from the collections. I'm not even sure who the manufacturer is of the heart and the leaf and pumpkin pieces, but the colors were similar enough that I could use them in my layout. And so I even doubled up on the two floral pieces that you see on the top right hand corner. I went ahead and layered one on top of the other, even though they're chipboard. I didn't bother cutting off pieces. Like I said, I was in a real time constraint, and even now, this is coming out late. I've had a lot of things happen during the week, and it's been kind of busy and wild, and I'm just trying to adjust to home, work life, and how I can incorporate my scrappy time in during those downtimes. So I put the copper heart on the top of the two pumpkins instead of underneath. I just figured that it would evoke more of a feeling of togetherness, and whenever you think of hearts, you think of love and the love that we share among family, and so that's the kind of feeling that I wanted to invoke with all of my elements that I decided to put in my layout. My title is going to be Together. It's pretty generic, but I didn't want to add anything like Pumpkin Way Off or Pumpkin Fest or anything of the sort. I kind of wanted that feeling of just being together. Even though my son is in a costume, or both of them are in costumes, I didn't necessarily feel like I had to make this a Halloween layout. I really wanted it to emphasize the fact that we go out together as a family and spend time together and create these memories as we go out and have fun as a family. So that was my title, and then this piece of paper here, or sticker, cardstock sticker, said Wander, and I felt like it was also a good, it brought another feeling into the layout, and I'm looking for other pieces that would either highlight or add to the clusters, and this was a pair that I really wanted to include, but it didn't go in. I instead opted for more of those copper hearts, and I did manage to bring one of these stickers that has a cluster of flowers. As you can see here, I have a little tiny bucket of foam scrap pieces that I use whenever I have tinier pieces that I need to add dimension to. I add another copper heart here, and there's even more dimension. I did use those chipboard squares that I used in the beginning to map my photograph, and I think you did see that in the process. So here I am adding more of those copper colored, it's like a soft rose or copper colored heart. Not as bright, excuse me, as that big foiled heart, but they're a different shade, which is okay because the colors in the background paper have all sorts of different shades in the same color family, and so it was okay to play within those ranges. I am adding some soft matte colored kind of brown champagne sequins that were from a Teresa Collins collection. Got them long time ago at Joann's. And then I am adding a brown shiny tiny sequin, and those I had acquired from the dollar store. So the last few touches that I do add is that I do stamp my date with the Heidi Swap date roller date stamp, and also, let's see here. One thing you don't see, and I think you don't even see it with the pictures, is that I added some chartreuse Heidi Swap color shine, but I do have details of the photograph, or I have photographs of the details, excuse me, coming up. Don't forget to check out the other ladies in the Mini Kit Monday group. I've yet to check out all of their videos. They do great layouts, and we all have different styles, and we have different kits this month, even though we all decided to make our kit out of a recipe that is also posted on the Facebook group. Don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, leave me a comment. I love to hear from you all, and we will see you in the next Mini Kit Monday video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.